Welcome everyone to our first Counselor Corner video. We'll be answering commonly asked questions during the admission process. My name's Kaelen and I'm one of the first year undergraduate admission counselors here at Illinois Institute of Technology. I work with students in Indiana, Kentucky, Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and then some parts of Illinois. I now want to turn it over so my co-hosts can introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, my name's Tyler. I'm an international admissions counselor here at Illinois Tech. I work primarily with students in the Western Hemisphere and India.
And then the first question that we'll be answering today is what's new about the admission process as well as admission requirements, and then if we have any tips and tricks to help with the application process. So Tyler, do you want to start us off?
I'm going to talk a little bit about our application requirements, specifically for our first year students to start with. Our first year students can apply for free through the Common App. We'll also need at least one letter of recommendation as well as official high school transcripts. For international students, we do require English proficiency depending on which country you're coming from as well. For transfer students, we will need your college transcripts as well as a personal statement. Students may also submit SAT or ACT scores, but for spring 2021 and fall 2021, we will be test optional, so this is not a requirement.
Now that we talked about all of our admission requirements, we're going to jump into tips and tricks for the application process. Tyler, can you start us off?
So when we're reviewing your application, we're going to be looking to make sure that you've taken relevant courses at your high school. Specifically, we're going to look at the STEM-related courses like calculus, biology, physics. If your school offers any AP or honors courses, we're also going to be taking a look at that. We understand that as a junior or senior, you may have not had the opportunity to take some of these classes, so it may be a little late for you. Kaelen, what would you recommend for these students? What else can they do to improve their application?
Yeah, the other thing that we can look at is your letter of recommendation. So, if you were able to take some of these calculus courses and things like that, or just relevant courses to your major, that's great. And if you've challenged yourself with AP and honors courses, that's also awesome. But another really important component when we're looking at a holistic review is that letter of recommendation. So we encourage you to consider recommenders that can talk about your academic skills. So if you're looking at our STEM programs, consider a math or science teacher. If you're looking at our humanities or maybe architecture, if you took an art class, have your art professor write a letter. It's just a really good way for us to learn a little bit more about your skills in those classes. We highly recommend that you send an email to your recommender, first asking if they will write a letter of recommendation for you, and then just reminding them of some highlights that you've done, what you've been involved in, and then as well as setting clear deadlines so that way they know when they need to get this submitted. Because it's also on you to make sure that your application is completed by our deadlines. And speaking of activities, I want to mention that if you don't put it down in your application, we're not going to know about it. So if you want to highlight any really cool extracurriculars, whether you're involved in the community or your high school, make sure you put that down in the application. If you have any leadership skills, we love seeing that. There's actually a scholarship that we look for those leadership skills when we're nominating students, so make sure you put that down. Tyler, do you recommend anything else?
Students, specifically first-year students and international students, do need to submit an essay through the Common App. We're going to look to make sure that you're answering the prompt fully and that you're doing it in a way that makes you stand out. Make sure that you write in paragraphs as well and make sure that it's proofread. If you're kind of lost as to what to write about, sometimes it helps to think about an experience that you've grown from or learned something important from. So do take that into account.
Thanks, Tyler. That's everything that we have for our first Counselor Corner. We've included some really helpful links in the description, so definitely check those out. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We're more than happy to answer those. And then make sure you stay tuned for our next Counselor Corner video. Bye!